in Shoal Creek Friday evening. And flooding in SEK. We take a look at the flooding situation in southeast Kansas after 2 days of heavy rain last week. Also, the city of Neosho announces road closures around the city starting today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Zach Dodge. Looks like we're going to have a pretty nice and sunny day today, doesn't it, Michael?
Not bad at all, especially when you consider the past 3 days, not only the heavy rainfall coming off of late last week, but then even the sporadic rain that we had over the weekend, Zach. I know not everybody got a whole lot of rain, but then there were places down to the south that just absolutely got hammered once again Saturday night. There's a live look over 7th and Range Line. Nice quiet start. We'll take that for a Monday any time of the year, especially when it's an extremely comfortable 69 degrees right now. We see Joplin just bumping up to 70. Got a couple more 70s down there, Miami and Oswego. And we got 67s in Fort Scott and Nevada. And Carthage and Parsons both ready to get to 70, sitting right there at 69. Only cloud cover. Got to drop down just to the southeast of I-44. Everybody else off to a very, very clear start. Nationally speaking, all that rain can stay down there to the south, give us at least a one-day break from it. And even though when we get to the 7-day forecast, you'll see we got a 30% shot of some showers. We're just going to keep it as that, even if anything does hit. And it's just that afternoon and evening instability that's typical for this time of year, as you can tell. It is just very, very isolated there. Nothing widespread and certainly nothing severe. Going to be a very mild week for the most part. Really don't have any 90s on the horizon until we get to Friday through Sunday. So we're a couple degrees below normal for this time of year with those rain chances really holding off there for the majority of the 7-day.
Very cool. What I'd like to see bright and early on a Monday morning.
I'm doing my best for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, Neosho, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 Friday evening. Authorities say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks, and that was certainly the case for our friends in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water in their usual play area tells us that he estimates that Danny Elliott Park floods like this 2 or 3 times per summer. A new report from the Natural Resources Defense Council says there are as many as 12 million Americans receiving drinking water through lead pipes without realizing their water is contaminated. Of the top 10 states with the highest number of lead pipes, Missouri ranked 6th. The top 5 were Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New York, and New Jersey. According to the NRDC report, some states, including Missouri, reported they're working on surveying their lead pipes. The report estimates Missouri has 5,462 lead pipes per 100,000 residents. However, the number of states, including Kansas and Arkansas, a number of them, failed to report. The city of Neosho announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from Neosho Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street for the new construction of the Neosho School District's Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place. It will be open only to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. A Joplin group is creating a community for skaters and anyone who wants to learn how to skate. Jomo Skates was created for anyone on wheels, whether they're on roller skates or skateboards. They aim to create a community of skaters within Joplin and the surrounding area. The group hosts meetups, and anyone is welcome to join regardless of skill level.
We just wanted to create a community of skaters, and also like for any people who are new to it, Just because this pandemic, a lot of people were trying to find hobbies to do, and roller skating was a big one. And so we wanted to kind of get together in a safe way.
The group's meetups happen on a monthly basis. If anyone is interested in joining them, you can find them on Instagram at Jomo Skates, which is where they will post about future events. The Mountain Youth Group Choir made a stop in Joplin Sunday morning at the Life Point Pentecostal Church. The choir is a group of 70 young people that for more than 30 years spends part of the summer touring the country and even Europe. They joined the congregation at Life Point Pentecostal and praise the Lord with their songs. Choir director Nixon Dottie says it goes beyond just coming together and singing.
Something that we've really strived to do is to connect with churches and minister together, not just come in, be a concert, pick up, come in, sing, leave, but to come and connect with churches and be in one mind and one accord with a true spirit of unity with each and every church.
The choir is based at the Apostolic Center in Mattoon, Illinois, a community of around 18,000. The Sarcoxy archery team sign is getting a much-needed update. The sign currently says they were state champions for the years 2013 through 2015, but the team has earned state champion titles for the past 5 years. When the community heard that the team needed over $3,000 for the new signs, they stepped in to help.
Some of the new accomplishments will update the rest of our state championships. One of our biggest wins was the national championship in 2017. That year we also won the World 3D Championship, and then this year we won the World 3D Championship again. So we would definitely like those on there.
Their new plaques should be up in a few months and will stay in place for the next 10 years. Wildcat Glades is teaching Joplin youth about the basics of camping. The group held their monthly Nature Explorers program Saturday at the Wildcat Glades Pavilion in Joplin. The program taught kids what they need to know to survive the outdoors, such as how to choose a campsite and how to set up a tent.
You kind of just plant a seed in the brain now, and then if they ever do go outside, they can be thinking about what type of water they should be nearby, what type of food that they should bring, maybe just starting them out being more prepared for when they get older.
The Wildcat Glades Friends Group says their next classes will be Monday through Friday, the week leading up to the Shoal Creek Water Festival. It's 5:07.
High 60s, low 70s already, and sunrise will be here at 6:13. Going to make our way up into the mid 80s. Any chance for rain going to be rather spotty and won't be here until the afternoon, early evening hours. Everything this morning is going to be pretty pristine. Nice mild temperatures considering we are in the middle of July and we're able to hang in the 80s until we get to the weekend. But it looks like a dry, warm week ahead. A chance to finally let some of those floodwaters recede.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a surge of COVID cases.
Could COVID restrictions be coming back? I'm Laura Podesta with why a recent rise in cases has some districts rethinking mask mandates.
Plus, Missouri Southern pitcher Zach Parrish prepares to sign a deal with the Texas Rangers this week. And some health experts say states should revisit parental consent requirements on vaccinations for teens. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Exciting news from Missouri Southern as pitcher Zach Parrish is taking his talents to the next level. Parrish signing an undrafted free agent deal with the Texas Rangers. Parrish excelled during his time as a Lion, winning multiple awards, including being named the Division II National Pitcher of the Year. Finished his collegiate career with 488 strikeouts, became the NCAA Division II all-time strikeout leader. Parrish flies to Texas tomorrow to make the deal official. Webb City 10 and under softball team competed for the Missouri State Championship on Sunday. Webb facing Lacomo East with the title on the line in an action-packed third inning. Webb already with a big lead. Cammie Rebel going to bring in Eva Hines. Marley Jack's on her horse. She's going to score as well. Webb goes up 8-1. Then Hines. More offense into the outfield. Everybody's going to score on this one. Clears the bases. A 3-run double for Hines. Then in the same inning, RBI single brings Hines home in from second. Emily House knocks one out to right. 2 more come across. 21-1. Congratulations to Webb City as they are the 10 and under state champions, beating Locomo East 23-2. Webb City's 16 and under girls also state champions. They battled for the title in a best-of-3 series against DeSoto as Webb City won the first game 20-2 and the second game 22-4. Here's manager Chandler Brown on the team's achievement.
The talent is just something fierce. Girls are coming out and they want to play, and their passion and their drive is just amazing to see. They wanted to come out and they wanted to win, and they wanted that, especially our girls who are aging out. It's just a huge accomplishment for them, and that's how they end their season. And it's just one of those things as a coach and a manager, you just smile and you're like, those are our girls, and we're super proud of how they represented Webb City.
Big day for the Joplin Outlaws, hosting their final home game of the season and hosting the Sedalia Bombers, who were in first place in the South Division. Postseason looming, wins become that much more important. So last night, Outlaws nearly pull off a comeback, but just fall 1 run short as the Bombers win it 7-6. Logan Klein with a 3-run double, Jared Toller with a 2-run double as well. St. Louis Cardinals 9 games back in the National League Central. Yesterday hosting the Giants, final game of the series. Giants with the best record in baseball right now. Series currently split, and it's the Cards that strike first in the third. Paul DeYoung, solo shot to left, home run number 13 for him. Next inning, Darren Ruff. He's got an answer. Check this bad boy out. Hoo-hoo! Big Mac land. Then late in the game, Harrison Bader reaches on an infield single. Jose Rondon scores the winning run. Cardinals win it 2-1 and take 2 out of 3 from the National League leading Giants. Royals wrapping up a series with the Orioles yesterday. If you were at the K and you saw one Zach Dodge, your eyes did not deceive thee. Ramon Arias, bases loaded hit down the line, scores 2. Then look out for the KC defense. Andrew Benintendi. A guy named Gordon used to play out there and make plays like that. How about Michael Taylor follows suit, lays out for the catch. Then in the 6th, Austin wins, stuffs it in the corner, RBI double. Here comes Ryan McKenna. We got put at the plate. McKenna in safely. Royals offense not to be found. Matt Harvey, nice pitching for the Orioles. Yeah, that Matt Harvey, he's back. Orioles win at 5-0. Colin Morikawa won the British Open yesterday, shooting his best round on Sunday. It was a 4-under par. Finished with a 66 for the round. He went 15 under for the tournament. This is his second major victory. His first just 11 months ago at the 2020 PGA Championship. Morikawa makes history as the first player to win 2 different majors in his first attempt. He's just 24 years old. Let me amend that really fast. Morikawa makes history as the first player to win 2 different majors in his first 8 tries since the legendary Bobby Jones. Also, Louis Oosthuizen, who not only led the first round, but led after the second round and led after the third round, becomes the first golfer not to win the British Open despite pulling that feat since Sergio Garcia did it in 2007. Still to come on the KOAM Morning News, COVID cases in the Olympic Village.
Just days before the start of the Tokyo Olympics, a handful of athletes have already tested positive for COVID. I'm Christina Coleman with a look at how Olympics organizers are forging ahead with the world's biggest sporting events.
And to check on our 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Oh, we're a little past 5:17, still a good time for weather on the 7th. I want to talk a little bit about rain numbers here for our daily almanac on this July the 19th. Now, you have to remember, this is at Joplin Regional specifically. I know that some people are going to look at that monthly number and say, wait, we got 9 inches out in portions of Labette County on Friday alone. So remember, this is Joplin Regional specific. Now, the one thing I want to point out is over the weekend, talking to some folks about just how wet it's felt that July has been so far. Well, interestingly enough, we are 5 inches behind where we were at this point in time last year. So yeah, there have been days where it has been a soaker, but just wanted to put that into perspective if we all remember how how wet that was last year. Live look over 7th and Rangeline, 69 degrees. It's extremely comfortable outside as we're already throwing up some low 70s throughout Joplin, Oswego, and Neosho. Fort Scott and Nevada at 67. There we go, changing on the fly. Parsons at 70 as well, and Carthage at 69. Clean Skywatch storm tracker, just a little light cloud cover, kicking down to the southeast of I-44. Now, over the weekend, check out Montgomery County right there near Independence, where that's about 5-6 inches of rain. Also, 2 portions of Miami were flooded Saturday night as well. Then you get that little pocket there in, throughout southwest Missouri, right along the state line. Hardly saw any over the weekend, so I know it was kind of hit or miss there. We do have flash flood watches still in effect. We've got the Osage, Little Osage, and Marmaton River flood warnings running until Wednesday. That is right there in the center of your screen, running from Lebec County down to northeast Oklahoma. Flood warning for the Neosho until Tuesday, and the Verdigris, where we were just talking about all that rain that fell. Flood warning all the way until this afternoon. Hopefully we'll let that one expire. Temperature is going to be, I don't want to say mild, but a little bit below normal for this time of year, as we have high 80s up until the weekend, and really get some sporadic rain today, but that will be about the extent of it for the week. Time now to turn our attention to the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll. With pressure increasing to get kids vaccinated before fall school opens, some experts are saying teens should make their own immunization choices. Recent opinion in the Journal of American Medical Association of Pediatrics cites health and behavior experts saying teens and children as young as 12 should choose for themselves. Our specific question for you: should teens need parental consent to get the COVID-19 vaccine? You can either log on to our Facebook page or go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. No coincidence that we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the contagious Delta variant is behind the recent surge of the coronavirus. A top U.S. tennis star has tested positive for the virus and pulled out of the Olympics. CBS's Laura Podesta has the latest.
COVID-19 is on the rise in the United States.
97% of the hospitalizations are in people who are unvaccinated. Most of the deaths that are occurring right now are in people who are unvaccinated.
New cases have spiked almost 70% over the past week.
For most people who get this Delta variant, it's going to be the most serious virus that they get in their lifetime in terms of the risk of putting them in the hospital.
I've never been hospitalized except to give birth to my children, and I am 57 years old.
Yvonne Gloston, who's unvaccinated, thinks she and her family got COVID at her daughter's outdoor graduation party last month. She spent 5 days in the hospital with double pneumonia and has since been on oxygen 24 hours a day.
Terrified of not seeing my family, of not being here to see my daughter off to college, and just not to being able to take care of my family. I was terrified.
To clamp down on the virus in Los Angeles County, a mask mandate went into effect over the weekend.
If that's what we have to do, then that's what we'll do.
Despite rising case numbers in England, almost all restrictions were lifted today. Brits celebrated at midnight by crowding into clubs to party.
Are they going to put us back in a lockdown?
Yeah,
I
that's
don't know.
what I'm worried about, is that we're going to be back into another lockdown afterwards. But...
So we're going to make the most of this.
Yes.
And in a blow to the U.S. Olympic team, tennis star Coco Gauff announced she tested positive and won't play in the upcoming Summer Games. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
The opening ceremony for the Olympics is this Friday. It's unclear if the 17-year-old Gauff was vaccinated. Yesterday, officials said 2 athletes already in the Olympic Village tested positive. Food insecurity and hunger hit people of color in bigger numbers during the coronavirus pandemic. New research from the University of Minnesota also found nearly a third of young adults in the U.S. said they had less access to healthy food in the past year. Many of them either ate sporadically or relied on fast food, both of which have negative consequences. Classic advice on loosening up before workouts or sports may be the wrong thing to do. Medical and training experts now say stretching is not vital to exercise or workouts, and it could even hurt you. One physician says advice is now moving towards gradual warming. Adding some stretching can hurt cold muscles, leading to injury. Trainers in particular are moving away from recommending static stretching before working out or stretches where a certain position is held. Other experts, however, say stretching can be helpful in certain situations to relieve pain and pressure points, leading to better sleep at night. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Day planner that's going to put us up into the mid-80s. Even spotty showers shouldn't dissuade you from getting outside and enjoying temperatures that, I don't want to say mild, but are warm for this time of year. And after that, we got set up for a nice dry week with 90s, not until the weekend.
There's a reason Indigo Sky.
Coming up, authorities released the name of a man found in Shoal Creek Friday evening. And flooding in SEK. We take a look at the flooding situation in southeast Kansas after 2 days of heavy rain last week. Also, the city of NEOSHO announces road closures around the city starting today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Zach Dodge. And we're going to go ahead and go over to Michael Hayslip in the Skywatch Weather Center.
It's going to be a gorgeous, gorgeous Monday, Zach. Waiting on sunrise. We still got about 42 minutes. It'll be here at 6:13 over Joplin. And speaking of Joplin, that's where we begin, right over 7th and Rangeline there. You can see the sky beginning to lighten up with just a tad bit of cloud cover there. 69 degrees. It's absolutely perfect outside. You don't even notice that humidity, to be honest with you, right now. Let's roll 69 as well in NEOSHO and Carthage, 66 in Fort Scott, 70 in Miami. There's the cloud cover as you work down to the southeast of I-44. It gets a little bit thicker, but really no worries on this Monday as the jet stream way up there right now, up by the Canadian border. And so that usually is an indicator of a quick little heat up here. So while it's abnormally warm in places, you see the arrow right there up in Big Sky Country and the Badlands, for us, actually the heat's not going to be able to get that far south. We're talking about temperatures in the mid-80s today, high 80s really for the rest of the week, and any rain that we do see from the old daily heating, that really keeps it from wanting to be able to explode on us and open up the skies. Rather isolated for today. And the rest of the week, looking dry and warm. Should be around 91 degrees. We don't really have a 91 there until we get to Friday.
Yeah, sounds good.
Shouldn't have any problem with the old heat index readings either. Not one of those that don't have to go, oh, it's 87 but feels like 95. Really not going to have that problem this week.
Very cool. Nice. Thank you, Michael. Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, NEOSHO, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 Friday evening. Officials say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks. And that was certainly the case for our friends in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water in their usual play area tells us that he estimates the Danny Elliott Park floods like this 2 or 3 times per summer. The city of NEOSHO announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from NEOSHO Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street for the construction of the new NEOSHO School District Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place. It will be open only to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. A Joplin group is creating a community for skaters and anyone who wants to learn how to skate. Jomo Skates was created for anyone on wheels, whether they're on roller skates or skateboards. The aim to create a community of skaters within Joplin and the surrounding area. The group hosts meetups and anyone is welcome to join regardless of skill level.
We just wanted to create a community of skaters and also like for any people who are new to it. Just because this pandemic, a lot of people were trying to find hobbies to do, and roller skating was a big one. And so we wanted to kind of get together in a safe way.
The group meets happen on a monthly basis. If anyone is interested in joining them, you can find them on Instagram at Jomo Skates, which is where they'll post about future events. The George Washington Carver National Monument in Diamond hosted its annual Junior Ranger Day, the first one since the pandemic began. Due to the pandemic, there were some changes to the return of the program this year, though. Typically, it spread over 3 weekends. However, this year it was just a 4-hour program on Saturday. Kids began their day at the Visitors Center, coloring special folders and creating their own national park, while learning more about national parks in the country and how to take care of them.
Well, these youth are the next stewards in the next generation to take pride in these special places. And so having the next generation become stewards to national parks, learn about them, and then in turn teach people about them, that is our goal and mission. And it's so amazing to see their eyes open and learn about these places right in their backyard.
Officials hope that next year will be a return to the normal Junior Ranger program. The Beaux Arts Center hosted a puppet show at their Museum of Creativity on Saturday. The show was open for all ages to come together and learn. The Arts Center says they brought the puppet show out to kick off having live performances at their location. One of the puppeteers says they've been working with puppets for over 30 years. To him, it's about creating something that spreads joy in others. And there's a chicken.
They get a chance to create something that part of the enjoyment. Some are inspired by music, like classical music. So I love the excitement about it. The best thing is the children and adults' reactions to it.
Kind of surprised you didn't have the puppet do the interview. Saturday's performance was the puppeteer's first ever performance in Kansas. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, the goose love story we didn't know we needed. We'll introduce you to the goose couple that could not stand to be apart, even with one in need of medical care. Plus, we're just days ahead of the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremony. We'll have the latest as a handful of athletes have already tested positive for COVID-19. But first, it's 5:37.
Already sitting in the high 60s, low 70s. Going to make it up into the mid 80s. Temperature's delightful considering it's the middle of July. Now, anything that we do see with that green popping up, it'll be afternoon, evening, quick in and out. After that, we stay on the dry side and don't see the 90s until we hit the weekend. We'll be back with World Watch right after this.
Topping World Watch, as the world's top athletes make their way to Japan, COVID cases in the Olympic Village are growing. With the opening ceremony scheduled for Friday, many are concerned the world's biggest sporting event will turn into a virus superspreader event. Christina Coleman reports COVID-19 isn't the only concern for the Summer Games.
Just days ahead of the Tokyo Olympics opening ceremony, a handful of athletes have tested positive for COVID-19. Team USA's Coco Gauff announcing Sunday she has dropped out of the Summer Games after contracting the virus. The 17-year-old tennis star tweeting in part, quote, "It has always been a dream of mine to represent the USA at the Olympics, and I hope there will be many more chances for me to make this come true in the future." In addition to Gauff, 2 soccer players and a video analyst from South Africa tested positive in Tokyo and are now in isolation. The soccer players became the first athletes to test positive while staying at the Olympic Village, which was set up in hopes of keeping athletes and staff in a bubble. Despite the COVID cases, Olympics officials are determined to have the games go on as planned.
All of the concerned people were immediately isolated, and in this way they do not pose any risk to other participants or the Japanese population.
Another complicating factor, the sweltering heat. Tokyo is expected to be one of the hottest Olympics on record, with temperatures averaging about 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Organizers are urging athletes and staff to stay hydrated at all times while complying with the mask mandate.
With masks, you get more thirsty, so in terms of measures, we recommend drinking more water.
Roughly 11,000 athletes from around the world are expected to participate in the Games. Some high-profile stars, including Serena Williams, Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal have already opted out. The wife of Haiti's slain president returns home. Martine Moose arrived in Port-au-Prince on Saturday. She had been in a Miami hospital after she was injured during the July 7th attack in which assassins killed the president. The interim president, Claude Joseph, welcomed her along with other officials. The return comes as the country prepares for the fallen president's funeral on July 23rd. Joseph has been leading Haiti since the president passed, even though Moose announced his replacement before the president was killed. Colombia's military intercepts drug smugglers at sea. This video from the country's armed forces shows Sunday's massive cocaine bust. Authorities say the vessel was transporting 62 packs of cocaine. 5 people were taken into custody. Authorities say the people on board started dumping the drugs into the sea when they saw the military units. Despite the country's fight against drug trafficking, Colombia is still in the world's top cocaine producers. Russia has deployed a military aircraft to help control wildfires burning in northern Siberia. The Defense Ministry says more than 2,000 of its firefighters are battling the wildfires in Yakutia, and in the past 24 hours, the military transport planes have dropped over 3,000 tons of water to put down the flames. First responders say more than 300 fires have engulfed over 2 million acres of the forest. Russian authorities blame high temperatures and lack of safety rules for the widespread forest fire. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Now let's toss it over to Michael right over there for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Zach. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, with pressure increasing to get kids vaccinated before fall school opens, you have some experts saying teens should make their own immunization choices. A recent opinion piece in the Journal of American Medical Association of Pediatrics cites health and behavior experts saying teens and children as young as 12 should choose for themselves about getting coronavirus vaccinations. Article says parents are often the ones opposed to their children and teens getting those shots. Our question to you, should teens need parental consent to get the COVID vaccine? Right now, 81% of you say, yeah, mom and dad got to sign off on it first. You can make your voice heard. Poll's going to be open all morning long. You can either go to our Facebook page, KOAM News Now, or go directly to our Insta poll, KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. We'll be back with the news you need to know before you head out the door right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. New COVID-19 cases have spiked almost 70% in the U.S. over the past week, while 8 states are seeing rapidly rising infections. A new CBS News poll shows that a majority of Americans are worried about the more contagious Delta variant, but it's the fully vaccinated who are more concerned than the unvaccinated. Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, NEOSHO, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 Friday evening. Officials say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks, and that was certainly the case for our friends in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water tells KOAM that he estimates the Danny Elliott Park floods like this 2 or 3 times per year. The city of NEOSHO announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from NEOSHO Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street for construction of the NEOSHO School District's new Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place. It will only be open to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Here's a live look over 7th and Range Line. A little light cloud cover hanging on right there. But sure does look kind of cool on this Monday morning. As we push through our weather trend, a whole lot of sunshine early on, but really not one of those that we're going to shoot up on the thermometer. We're able to hang in the mid-80s for the most part. Now, when you get to 7-day forecast, you're all going to see a 30% chance of rain on this Monday, and here's why. As we get really into the afternoon and evening hours, you can tell it's very spotty and isolated. We're not talking about anything widespread nor heavy like what we've had for the past 3 days there. And then as we kick that out overnight, we're really going to clear off the skies and have a delightful, delightful evening, not only for tonight, but the great thing about the 7-day forecast is, average high this time of year would be around 91 degrees, and overnight lows should be, in the low 70s at least, and it's just going to be, I don't want to say it's mild, but we'll take warm. Nothing oppressive. Even when we get to the weekend and we see those 90s up there, that's really right where we should be. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
It's the love story we didn't know we needed. A mated pair of wild geese couldn't stand to be separated after an injury left one of the animals in need of medical care. Gene Moose has the story of the goose couple, who are a true example of in sickness and in health.
They always say geese mate for life, but these two mated through sickness and health.
This was the first time we ever had an animal come to visit one of our patients.
Staff at the New England Wildlife Center on Cape Cod noticed one of a pair of wild geese that live nearby limping and falling over. They discovered 2 fractures on his foot requiring surgery. But as they prepared to sedate the goose they named Arnold,
We heard sort of a faint tapping at the clinic door, and we turned around and we're all pretty shocked to see that his mate had waddled up onto the porch and was, kind of furiously trying to get into the clinic.
Don't worry, he's in good hands.
under the watchful eye of Arnold's mate, the surgery began to repair the damage possibly caused by a snapping turtle.
I kid you not, she stood there the entire time and actually could watch the procedure going on. Was really watching him like a hawk, or like a goose, I guess.
45 minutes later, the surgery complete. They moved Arnold right in front of the doors. They gave him oxygen. And when Arnold fully woke up, his mate began grooming him. They had to amputate a digit, but Arnold should be able to live normally in a few weeks. Meanwhile, his mate comes and goes, using the clinic lawn as a hospital cafeteria, and even picking at Arnold's meals. Ain't love grand, wrote one commenter, and they lived happily ever after, posted another. Talk about a love story. This one's worth honking about.
That's really cute.
It even, cool. For those of you at home, I like to peel back the curtain every now and then, Dodge.
Yeah.
For those of you watching at home, who just watching that story, it just elicited a "aww" out of Zach Dodge. It was great.
Hey, that happens more often than some people realize. I do it most of the time.
No, there's nothing wrong with that. I loved it.
But
as a matter of fact, I was updating some monthly numbers. I wasn't really invested in the story, and then when I heard that expression from you, I actually paid attention to the rest of it. All right, Zach, before we get to the Insta poll, let's take a live look outside of Television City, give you an idea of just how gorgeous we're going to be off to a Monday start, and we deserve it coming off of the 3 consecutive days where in some place in the 4 states had rain. A whole lot of it was torrential at times. Now, let's talk about the KOAM News Now Facebook page, because there's increasing pressure for kids to get vaccinated before school begins. And you got some experts saying that actually teens should make their own immunization choices. You got a new article out, and let's see, it's the Journal of American Medical Association Pediatrics. It says teens and children as young as 12 should choose for themselves about getting coronavirus vaccinations. Article says parents are often the ones opposed to children and teens getting the shot. So our question to you is, should teens need parental consent to get the COVID-19 vaccine? Pretty stagnant, not a whole lot of movement here. And overwhelming, 81% say, yeah, mom and dad need to sign off on that first. Remember, you can take part. All you have to do is either go to the KOAM News Now Facebook page, or you can go directly to our Insta poll by typing in KOAMnewsnow.com/vote. Let's come back, take a look at our day planner right after this. Extremely comfortable with temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s right now, and the humidity not really playing a factor. Despite the fact that it's high, we're kind of helped out by a little northeasterly breeze that's pushing in. So I tell you what, if you want to get out early, maybe take the dog for a walk, something like that, it's perfect right now, considering we're in the middle of July. And normally we'd be staring, usually this time of year we're talking about highs in the 90s and what it's going to feel like during the afternoon, and that is certainly not the case on this Monday, July 19th, as we're just going to hang in the mid-80s here, and then overnight mostly clear skies with a little northeasterly breeze. Now, this afternoon and evening, you see a little green that wants to pop up here. Not going to amount to anything, pretty quick hitting, and certainly not widespread, nor as intense as what we had from Friday through Sunday. And as we begin to clear off overnight, it's really smooth sailing on the 7-day forecast. Not only did we have a chance to let the floodwaters recede coming off of last week and the weekend, but also, too, temperatures really don't hit 90 until we get into Friday. After that, that's a true taste of July, but tell you what, the mornings are going to be gorgeous. Be back right after this.
Coming up, authorities released the name of a man found in Shoal Creek Friday evening. And flooding in SEK. We take a look at the flooding situation in southeast Kansas after 2 days of heavy rain. Also, the city of NEOSHO announces road closures around the city starting today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6 a.m. I'm Zach Dodge. We're going to have a really nice day today, it looks like, Michael. So why don't you tell us about the rest of the week?
Just absolutely gorgeous, despite the fact that every time we go to 7th and Rangeline, we're seeing some gathering cloud cover, but no worry about any rain as far as our morning hours go. And really, you combo the cloud cover and also, too, a little northeasterly breeze, and it's made for a very mild morning. 69 degrees is where we stand right now, and even with the humidity being up into the 90s, not bad at all when you walk outside. Let's roll 67 in Pittsburgh, 70 in Miami, 68 in Monette, and throw NEOSHO in at 68 as well. That cloud cover kind of creeping up from the south, despite the fact that the wind arrows come in from the north-northwest. Very warm in the upper plains, all the way in the Big Sky country up by the Canadian border, but we're going to be spared the heat wave. It's not going to be too bad for us all week long. Our weather trend today is going to put us into the mid-80s. And so considering it's the middle of July, that's hard to beat. Any green that we do see pop up on Future Track, it is going to be extremely isolated and quick. Anywhere from the afternoon into the evening hours, not going to see much accumulation, and not everybody is going to see a raindrop either. Then we kind of clear off overnight, and what's going to be another nice mild night, and really the 7-day forecast saying, we're going to spoil you for a little bit, not only keep you dry and let those waters recede, because Zach's got some pretty amazing video coming up out of Labette County here where we saw 9 inches on Friday alone. So we'll update our rivers here coming up in just a little bit. But luckily, all those swollen banks are going to have a chance to not take on any more precipitation.
Yeah, that's some good news for those people like in Labette County where they've had so much rain. Thank you very much, Michael. Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, NEOSHO, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 on Friday evening. Authorities say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks. And that was certainly the case for our friends in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water in their usual play area tells us that he estimates the Danny Elliott Park floods like this 2 or 3 times per summer. A new report from the Natural Resources Defense Council says there are as many as 12 million Americans receiving drinking water through lead pipes without realizing their water is contaminated. Of the top 10 states with the highest number of lead pipes, Missouri ranks 6th. The top 5 were Illinois, Ohio, Michigan, New York, and New Jersey. According to the NRDC report, some states, including Missouri, reported they're working on surveying their lead pipes. The report estimates Missouri has 5,462 lead pipes per 100,000 residents. However, a number of states, including Kansas and Arkansas, failed to respond. The city of Neosho announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from Neosho Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street to prepare for construction of the Neosho School District's Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place. It will be open only to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. The people of Sarcoxie came together to recognize their high school archery team's achievements. When you go into the town of Sarcoxie, you may notice a sign on the way in celebrating their state archery championship wins. But the problem is, it doesn't accurately portray the team's achievements and only shows their wins up to 2015, which leaving out quite a bit there so far. KOAM's Bronte Sorodsky has the story.
The Lions Club actually got it for us, or well, had something to do with it in 2017, I believe. And we haven't had it updated since then, and our greatest accomplishments are not even on there, so it greatly needs to be updated.
In order to update it, not only did they need a lot of money, but they didn't have much time.
Yes, we recently found out that everything needed to be completed by July 31st.
That gave the team a week and a half to get all necessary paperwork in and to raise over $3,000. Now, with the help of some generous donors, these archers' hard work will be recognized, like Allie Nordell's 2018 National Bullseye Championship.
It feels really nice to be recognized by the whole town, because we've been working for this for years, and we're getting a lot of recognition for it, and it feels so good for all the hard work to pay off.
Or Alyssa Willis's World Championship achievement for hitting 3D animals.
I mean, I got lucky. I have a great team. It feels pretty great. I mean, knowing that the community supports us so much that they would be willing to donate for our cause is just amazing. We wouldn't be able to do half the things we do without the support from the community.
Other team members share the same appreciation for the community's overwhelming support. It's what gives Allison Darrow, an incoming sophomore, faith that she can count on the people in her town.
It's good to have support from so many people from all around the community and to know that they support our cause and that they're there for us.
And with the archery team's 9-year winning streak, the town has much to be proud of. In Sarcoxie, Bronte Sorodsky, KOAM News.
The new plaques should be in place in a few months and will stay there for the next 10 years. A Joplin group is creating a community for skaters and anyone who wants to learn how to skate. Jomo Skates was created for anyone on wheels, whether they're on roller skates or skateboards. They aim to create a community of skaters within Joplin and the surrounding area. The group hosts meetups and anyone is welcome to join regardless of skill level.
We just wanted to create a community of skaters and also like for any people who are new to it. Just because this pandemic, a lot of people were trying to find hobbies to do and roller skating was a big one. And so we wanted to kind of get together in a safe way.
The group meets on a monthly basis. If anyone is interested in joining them, you can find them on Instagram at Jomo Skates, which is where they will post about future events. It's 6:07.
Little Slip is learning a longboard right now from the wise woman, so I'm tempted to take him down there and throw him out on the tennis court, see how he does. Sunny skies, mid-80s. Cannot beat this for the middle of July. Overnight, clearing off, a little northeast breeze, 5 to 10 miles per hour. This will be really the only day that will go a shot for afternoon and evening rain. It's going to be spotty and isolated. Promises it won't be anything like last week into the weekend. And then we get to ride mid to high 80s. Very nice, all the way to Friday.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, numbers continue to climb.
Spread of the Delta variant, the risk to children is higher than ever. I'm Kirsten O'Connor in Orlando, Florida, where doctors are confronting a critical phase in the pandemic.
Plus, Sesame Place is welcoming the return of crowds this summer, but they don't have enough workers. What the park is doing to attract more staff. And the former One Direction singer Harry Styles announces new tour dates around the U.S. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Time is ticking as a family discovers a hidden danger in paradise in the latest chilling summer film.
Also, a former NFL quarterback turns to writing children's books. Anthony Pura with a look at those stories and more. He's got today's Eye on Entertainment.
A family's tropical vacation turns into a nightmare in the latest M. Night Shyamalan movie, Old. The film takes place in a secluded beach that's causing people to age rapidly, reducing their entire lives to a single day.
As things become more and more weird and more threatening, and they can't leave, it becomes very claustrophobic for these individuals on this beach, and you can see them panicking and they're trying to get out.
Old premieres in theaters this Friday.
That's not how you'll die,
No,
is it?
no.
No. You'll wait to explode like the rest of us.
Yeah. The last day on Earth is nearing in the feel-good apocalyptic comedy How It Ends. The film, which has received strong reviews from critics, follows Liza, played by Zoe Lister-Jones, as she scores an invite to one last wild party before the world ends. How It Ends will be available on demand everywhere and in select theaters tomorrow. And former NFL quarterback Colin Kaepernick will release a series of children's books with the first picture story set for release next year. The book, titled I Color Myself Different, will come out in April. His picture book is based on a kindergarten memory when he used a yellow crayon to draw his adopted family, then a brown one to draw himself. Kaepernick is known for sparking a movement against racial and social injustice by not standing during the national anthem. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Another former NFL quarterback by the name of Andrew Luck, because a lot of people don't know Andrew Luck actually has his own book club for children.
Nice. Yeah, that'd be
Makes
pretty good to
sense.
know. Yep, makes sense. And another thing that makes sense is that Harry Styles is hitting the road in a few weeks, and good news for fans, he's adding more tour dates.
Former One Direction singer announcing some changes to his upcoming tour, which includes some new shows.
Styles shared the news on Instagram and said for now, he's only hitting cities in the U.S. due to COVID concerns.
Says fans should look at individual venue websites to make sure of safety precautions. Harry's tour kicks off September 4th in Vegas.
That's it for our Eye on Entertainment report.
We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
In Money Watch this morning, theme parks are in for a long ride this summer as they face worker shortages but overwhelming demand from the public. Lydia Hu reports from Sesame Place in Pennsylvania.
After being forced to close for months last year, operators of Sesame Place are thrilled to welcome back crowds like this one on a hot summer day, but it doesn't come without some challenges. They need extra workers. They have an opening for about 500 entry-level positions this summer, and the operators here tell us that it's all hands on deck until they get those positions filled.
I think it's a challenge. It speaks to the passion of everybody here at Sesame Place that we're all just willing to make this work and figure it out. As you mentioned, that everybody from all the way up to our park president is willing to roll up their sleeves and make sure that the park is operating efficiently. Like I saw our park president working a food stand the other day. Our maintenance and engineering director was operating a ride. Our head of HR was doing the turnstile. So everyone's willing to do whatever they need to do. So the fact that it's hard or how much of a challenge this is isn't really our focus. Our focus is really on the guests, and it's on making sure our team members feel supported right now.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, employment in amusement parks and arcades is slowly recovering, but still remains down about 56,000 workers. Some theme parks across the country had to cut back on hours or days, but Sesame Place is adamant that they won't do that. Instead, they're cross-training employees so they can both operate a ride and perhaps work in a kitchen. They say that helps them make the most of the workforce that they do have. Now, to recruit for those 500 open positions, Sesame Place has boosted wages to $16 an hour. They're offering bonuses of $500 and an opportunity for their workers to earn an extra $2,000 this summer alone. And some might say the best perk of all is that it's a chance to say Elmo is your coworker.
Subway Sandwiches wants to clear the record on its tuna content, so it started a Tuna Facts website. The sandwich chain has launched a new website called SubwayTunaFacts.com as a way of combating what it sees as misinformation about its tuna. The website presents Subway's story, explaining testing, sourcing, and supplier facilities. The website says the suit plaintiffs now no longer say it's not tuna, but allege it's not yellowfin or skipjack. The iconic pizza from a kid's party place is making its way to your own homes. Chuck E. Cheese is bringing its pizza to your refrigerator soon. The food restaurant and amusement place will make its cheese and pepperoni pizzas available through Kroger's grocery stores. There's an added bonus with the pizzas too. 250 free e-tickets, which can be used for future visits at Chuck E. Cheese restaurants. That's it for Money Watch. Now let's toss it over to Michael for our look at the forecast.
Zach, temperatures in the high 60s, low 70s right now. Just a couple minutes past sunrise over Joplin. It's going to be a delightful day considering we're in the middle of July. Temperature is going to be relatively mild. We'll go mid 80s. Any rain that we do see is going to be very, very spotty as we'll make it up into the mid 80s and high 80s for the rest of the week. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, more than 4 million children have been infected with COVID-19 in the U.S. since the start of the pandemic, according to the American Academy of Pediatrics. And with the highly infectious Delta variant spreading across the country, doctors worry about that number continuing to climb. Kirsten O'Connor has the story from Orlando, Florida.
Dr. Fatma Levent specializes in pediatric infectious diseases in Orlando, where COVID-19 cases are on the rise.
Now what we're seeing is younger children, younger adults are getting the infection and bringing it to their families.
As the powerful Delta variant sweeps the country, Dr. Levent says it's affecting children more than previous strains, and more of them are ending up in the hospital.
When they get it, it's usually mild. However, they can get hospitalized, they can get pneumonia and other complications.
In June, Katia Tejada's daughter, Caitlin, was one of those children.
I was scared. I was panicking because she said that she had a headache, she had her body, it was some pain.
The 15-year-old is unvaccinated and spent 3 days in the hospital when the infection led to pneumonia.
It was a bit scary for me. My throat hurt a lot.
Here in Florida, about 90% of seniors are vaccinated, but among children, the number is lagging far behind.
Only about 30% of kids between 12 and 17 have had their shots, slightly below the national average. Mississippi's rate is just 12%, the lowest in the nation.
In this phase of the pandemic, there's really two life choices. It's to vaccinate or you're going to get COVID.
As a mother of 3 teenagers, Dr. Levent is taking no chances.
I really want to protect my children, and I can proudly say that all my 3 children are fully vaccinated.
Caitlin thinks she was infected at a party where people were unmasked. She's on the mend now, and the family plans to be much more cautious in the future. Kirsten O'Connor, CBS News, Orlando, Florida.
The American Academy of Pediatrics says severe COVID is still rare among children, but that more research is needed on the possible long-term effects of the virus. Researchers are finding new clues about how the immune system may impact miscarriages. Scientists at UC San Francisco discovered cells in mice that prevent the immune system from attacking the placenta or fetus. The research is at an early stage, but doctors hope it could lead to new immune therapies to prevent pregnancy loss. And there are promising results for a new method of measuring the quality of life of kidney failure patients. The so-called proper score measures things like cognitive function, depression, fatigue, and pain. Researchers hope it will help doctors in their care and treatment of patients with poor kidney health. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Take a live look over 7th and Range Line. I've got a little bit of sun trying to peek through right there. Just not a whole lot. The clouds got on us kind of quick, but tell you what, it really does help out temperature-wise to go along with a little northeasterly breeze that we'll have. 69 degrees is where we stand right now in Joplin. Extremely comfortable Monday morning considering we're getting ready to push into the latter third of July here in a couple days. 70 in Miami and Neosho, 66 in Fort Scott, Nevada right behind it, and then a trio of 68s running from Neosho to Independence into Parsons. There's a Skywatch storm tracker. We know what that blue is. That's just a little residual picked up by reflectivity, picked up by the sweeping radar right there. No worries about anything. But if we go back into Saturday, you got a big round circle there along the state line through southwest Missouri where nobody got any rain. And then we had flooding in downtown Miami Saturday night. And then look out here in Montgomery County in between Independence and South Coffeyville. And so if you get that amount just since Saturday, that's going to lead to a flood warning for the Verdigris River. Hopefully we can let that lift this afternoon. Then as we work from west to east, let's go down, take a look at the Neosho River. That flood warning right there for Tuesday, that's down in the Commerce, Miami area. Of course, it also encompasses the gauges at Oswego and in Parsons. And then as we push up into northern and southwest Missouri, we've got the Osage, Little Osage, and Marmonton rivers, all with flood warnings. Those run into the middle of the week, not set to expire until Wednesday. Despite the fact that jet stream has a big ridge that's lifting over the Canadian border right now, we will not have to worry about the heat wave and anything that's oppressive this week, as our temperatures today will be in the mid-80s overnight, back down into the 60s. Now, we do have a slight chance for rain today, but it's not going to be anything like what we had past 3 days. You see a little green pop up for the afternoon into the evening hours, quick hitter in and out, and then after that, we're clearing off overnight. 7-day forecast with very, very nice temperatures for this time of year, actually below normal all the way into the weekend, and a chance to dry out from Tuesday all the way to Sunday. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News right after this.
Coming up, authorities released the name of a man found in Shoal Creek Friday evening. And flooding in SEK. We take a look at the flooding situation in southeast Kansas after 2 days of heavy rain. Also, the city of Neosho announces road closures around the city starting today.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Zach Dodge, and we're going to go straight to Michael Hayslip with our look at the fantastic looking forecast.
Look at this, Zach. The sun just now creeping above the tree line. It's a live look outside of Television City. I want to break open our almanac, and before everybody jumps on it and says, wait a second, I got more than 3 inches of rain in my neighborhood on Friday alone, let's remember this is specifically for Joplin Regional Airport. This is where these numbers are recorded at. But for the year, we are actually 5 inches below where we were at this point in time in 2020. So despite the fact that it feels like we're underwater, and there are plenty of places that are, still haven't picked up as much as we did 1 year ago. Kind of a cool shot with the clouds that built over 7th and Range Line with temperatures extremely mild, sitting at 69 degrees. And we've been there pre-sunrise, so the cloud cover actually keeping us from that quick little heat up. 70 in Miami and Neosho. Let's go 67 in Pittsburgh and Nevada, and 69 in Carthage. Now the jet stream riding up by the Canadian border, that usually means a heat wave is on its way, but that will not be the case this week, as we're going to be the recipients of mild temperatures, considering it's the middle half and about to turn into the latter third of July. Future track will show you, get to the afternoon, pop up a isolated raindrop or two. Nothing severe, and it's not going to be elongated. Accumulation numbers probably just trace amounts, and then we get to sit back and really enjoy just warm temperatures. Nothing oppressive, nothing too hot, all the way into Friday.
Sounds good.
Doing my best.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, NEOSHO, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 Friday evening. Officials say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks, and that was certainly the case for our friends in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, where it looks pretty flooded, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water in their usual play area says the Danny Elliott usually floods like this 2 or 3 times per summer. The city of NEOSHO announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from NEOSHO Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street for construction of the NEOSHO School District's new Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place and will only be open to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. A Joplin group is creating a community for skaters and anyone who wants to learn how to skate. Jomo Skates was created for anyone on wheels, whether they're on roller skates or skateboards. I'd imagine probably not cars, though. They aim to create a community of skaters within Joplin and the surrounding area. The group hosts meetups, and anyone is welcome to join regardless of skill level.
Just wanted to create a community of skaters, and also like for any people who are new to it. Just because this pandemic, a lot of people were trying to find hobbies to do, and roller skating was a big one. And so we wanted to kind of get together in a safe way.
The group meets on a monthly basis. If anyone is interested in joining them, you can find them on Instagram at Jomo Skates. That's where they're going to post about future events. Music lovers in Joplin gathered Saturday evening at Mercy Park for a new concert series in the city. KOAM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with musicians and music lovers who expressed how excited they are that live music is officially back.
Joplin is no stranger to producing talented musicians and bands, which led one local nonprofit to create an event to showcase the area's local talent at a brand new concert series, Jomo Jammin' in July.
The first time that we've done this event, we kind of dreamed it up during COVID times, and we wanted a way to support local musicians as well as just get people in the groove of going back to live performances safely.
Saturday's theme, Indie Rock. The event filled Mercy Park with music and arts lovers, and attendees say it's a great addition to the community.
It's nice to see Joplin take on some live events, support some of the arts.
But what really attracted Madeline Lizotte to the event was being able to see one of her favorite local bands.
Well, I've always wanted to hear Fox Royale perform. A couple months ago, I heard that they were performing, I think at Joplin Avenue, and I missed out on that one. So I wanted to make sure that I would get to see this one.
Fox Royale's lead singer says after performing virtually and at local coffee shops for so long, it was nice to be back with his community, but also to surround himself with people who all love the same thing, music.
It feels really good. It's nice to be back with the community in person. We did the live stream stuff a few times, and it just is not the same at all. So it's exciting to be in a place, it's not a room, but like in a place where there's people that all came here for the same thing, which was to either play music or listen to music.
Connect to Culture says the live music series will go on all July to feature more of Joplin's talented musicians. In Joplin, Bronte Sorotsky, KOAM News.
Also performing was the indie rock band Me Like Bees, who say they were excited to perform at their first live show in over a year. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, shootings over the weekend.
A surge in violence in our nation's capital this weekend. I'm Laura Podesto with details including the death of a little girl killed while riding her scooter.
Plus, for our Something to Talk About, should teens need parental consent to get the COVID-19 vaccine? We let you weigh in. But first, it's 6:37.
Let those temperatures just stay in the mid-80s today. Cannot beat that, and any rain that we do see is going to be extremely isolated, not widespread, nothing severe. And then how about staying in the 80s? We don't have to worry about a little heat kicking in until we get to the weekend. We'll be back with more KOAM Morning News and Nation Watch next.
Topping Nation Watch this morning, panic at a Washington Nationals game over the weekend when a shooting near the ballpark entrance sent many in the crowd running for cover. As CBS News' Laura Podesta explains, violence in our nation's capital didn't end there. A 6-year-old girl was also killed.
Just 6 years old, was riding a scooter Friday night when she was killed by a drive-by shooter. Police released video of this sedan where you can see someone firing out a window. 5 adults were also wounded.
The cowards who committed this crime came into this community without any regard for human life, without regard for Naya's life.
Less than 24 hours later, on Saturday night, gunfire erupted outside the Washington Nationals baseball stadium.
People are running, and it's a real scary situation,
causing a terrifying and confusing interruption to the game. Players rushed to their families. Many believe the shooter was somewhere inside the ballpark.
We start leaving, and then we hear another bang. We're near the center field gate, and more people just start running out.
Police say 3 people outside the stadium were wounded in the shooting. Investigators are still searching for suspects. Washington, D.C.'s rise in violence during the pandemic was most palpable in this post-game interview with 8-year-old Ferris Nunn.
It was my second shooting, so I was kind of prepared because I always am expecting something to happen.
Earlier this month, D.C. passed 100 homicides for the year, the fastest it's reached that grim milestone since 2003. Laura Podesta, CBS News.
Saturday's game was suspended following the gunshots. It resumed on Sunday, with the Nationals beating the San Diego Padres 8-7. In a tweet, the Nationals thanked fans for staying calm and helping one another. Firefighters are battling dozens of wildfires in the western U.S. The Tamarack Fire in Northern California jumped a roadway and forced evacuations. It spread at nearly 5 miles in just 24 hours. Forecasters say more dangerous fire weather looms in the coming days as another heat wave scorches the West. That's a look at today's top national stories. Now let's toss it over to Michael again for our Something to Talk About.
Thank you, Zach. On the KOAM News Now Facebook page and our morning Insta poll, with pressure increasing to get kids vaccinated before fall school opens, experts saying maybe teens should make their own immunization choices. There's a recent opinion piece in the Journal of the American Medical Association of Pediatrics. It cites health and behavior experts saying teens and children as young as 12 should choose for themselves about getting coronavirus vaccines. Article says parents are often the ones opposed to their children and teens getting the shot. Our question to you is, should teens need parental consent to get the COVID-19 vaccine? Right now, 80% of you say, yeah, mom and dad need to sign off on it. That's been a pretty consistent number, up in the 80s all morning long. And don't forget, polls still open. You can make your voice heard each and every morning by going to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote or going to our KOAM News Now Facebook page. We're going to come back, celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this.
We take this time to honor today's 4-state hero. First Sergeant Leon Crooks served in the United States Army from 1942 to 1945, in World War II with the 2nd Chemical Mortar Battalion. His hometown, Parsons, Kansas. We're proud to salute Leon Crooks, a 4-state hero.
Begins with Bristol Jade Hensley celebrating her 5th. The equestrian birthday photo. Absolutely love it, Bristol Jade. In fact, that is her horse, Pistol. And I want you to know, kiddo, this comes with love from mom and dad.
And a very happy birthday to Blair Clark, turning 9 years old, playing some ball. Happy birthday, Blair.
K squared, Cleet Keller. He's got his 16th birthday. Time to break out that driver's license and make it official. Happy birthday, Cleeton McCune.
Benjamin Guy, turning 20 years old in Walnut. Your birthday was on Friday, and this comes with love from your family.
Timothy Atkins Jr. celebrating his 32nd. Timothy, a big happy birthday to you in Pittsburgh.
And a very big happy birthday to Jay Manley in Chanute, turning 42.
Speaking of 42, Jeremy Keller celebrating a 42nd birthday as well. Jeremy, a happy birthday in McCune.
And now we have some twins. First up, it's Rob Monty turning 48 in Parsons, and Robin Baker also turning 48, of course, in Parsons as well. Happy birthday to both of you.
Mike Omi celebrated his 58th birthday over the weekend. Mike in Pittsburgh.
And a very happy birthday to Yvonne Grace, turning 69 in Chanute.
Run out to Crestline, that's where Marlene Clark celebrated her 74th birthday. Beautiful picture right there. Happy birthday, Miss Marlene.
And a very happy birthday to Kathleen Reynolds, turning 82 in Columbus.
I hope the birthday party was raging on over the weekend in Brunel, because that is where Mr. Bill Use had his 90th birthday. Big Kansas City Chiefs fan. Happy birthday, Mr. Use.
And a very happy birthday as well to Ken Kelly in Columbus. Don't know how old Ken is now, but happy birthday.
Anniversary time. The good doctor. And a congratulations to Kevin and Mindy Schupbach as they celebrate 13 years. The Schupbachs are in Farlington. What's up, Doc?
And a very happy anniversary to Jeremiah and Tanya Davis. This is their 18th anniversary, and they're celebrating in Pittsburgh.
A milestone in Erie as Jim and Judy Burns, they celebrated their 30th anniversary. Congratulations, Jim and Judy.
And a very happy anniversary as well to Tim and Jeanette Crane, 39 years now in Columbus. Happy anniversary.
And our own Lance Benning, part of our Phase 3 digital team. Lance, a very, very happy birthday to you, and thank you for all that you do here at the station, sir.
And I'm gonna have to give you some grief about not giving us how old you are or where you're at or anything like that. I mean, we know, but I'm not gonna put that out there since you apparently don't want it.
In the words of Lance himself, timeless.
There you go.
I'm just kidding, he didn't say that.
Happy birthday,
I just
Lance.
actually just made that up for him.
V. Wells, happy birthday in Baxter Springs.
Oh, I get this one. All
right.
There's a couple people I'm going to pick on today.
Okay.
One of them is going to be Brad Allman. I had a chance to do a story with the Allman family, just absolutely fell in love and adore everything that they've done for that school and that community. Brad, a very, very happy birthday. All you had to do was probably text me a picture. Could have got it on.
Right.
Amy could have done that, a number of ways we could have done this, but no, Brad, happy birthday and thank you for everything that you and your family do.
And a very happy birthday to Darlene Walker, 58 today, and they work at Medical Lodges in Fort Scott.
In Miami, Buzz Gordonier celebrating birthday number 86. Buzz, a very happy birthday.
And a very happy birthday to Samantha Borer, turning 32 in Erie. And she works at Farmers Bank in Walnut. So everybody in Walnut, you'll have to go and wish her happy birthday.
Yeah, stop in there and say, tell Sam happy birthday. Charles and Susie Frank, so we were talking about milestones. How about their 40th anniversary for the Franks? Congratulations to Charles and Susie.
And a very happy birthday to Charles Martin, turning 80 today in Columbus. Happy birthday from your loving wife.
I got to pick on somebody else here.
Yeah.
Now, Sean and Haley, great couple right there. Congratulations as well on those 12 years. And I'll jump on Miss Boognia too. She's been very, very influential in the Hayslip kids' lives. So Sean and Haley, congratulations, and I will track down a picture eventually.
Great. And
I need Sean to send in that wedding photo.
Right.
Hey, I know Bethy.
Happy birthday, Bethy Harrington, turning 17 in Pittsburgh.
And she's a busy kid.
Yeah,
busy,
she
hard
is.
work. Well, young woman.
Right.
A very busy, hardworking young woman. She not only works at Brahms, she also works at the Pittsburgh Aquatic Center, and she's about to embark upon her senior year. at Pittsburgh High School. So that's the epitome of hard work and success right there. Bethy, a very happy birthday to you. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all. Here is Zach Dodge with a very important birthday announcement.
You can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club by going to our website and signing up. You can get special deals from local businesses as well. So go to KOAMnewsnow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. And be sure to include, if you can, a picture in there. So you're always great.
That way Hayslip just keeps his mouth shut when we get to those. Be right back after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. New COVID-19 cases have spiked almost 70% in the U.S. over the past week, while 8 states are seeing rapidly rising infections. A new CBS News poll shows that a majority of Americans are worried about the more contagious Delta variant, but it's the fully vaccinated who are more concerned than the unvaccinated. Authorities say they've identified a body found Friday evening in Shoal Creek in Joplin. The Joplin Police Department says it was 46-year-old Brandon Vickers of Joplin. Saturday, rescue crews from Joplin, NEOSHO, and Reddings Mill recovered Vickers' body from Shoal Creek near McKindo Park after kayakers spotted the body around 5:30 Friday evening. Officials say detectives are conducting an active death investigation. 4-state summer rains can sometimes result in flooded parks, and that was certainly the case for those in Oswego, Kansas over the weekend. This was the situation at Danny Elliott Park, but that didn't keep a handful of people from coming down and checking out the watery scene. One park visitor who brought his son to see the water tells us that Danny Elliott Park floods like this 2 or 3 times per summer. The city of Neosho announced Sunday that there will be 2 road closures in town starting today. Hill Street will be closed to all traffic from Neosho Boulevard to Oak Ridge Drive. This is to allow work to be done to realign the street for the new construction of the Neosho School District's Performing Arts Center. Sherman Street will also be closed from Oak Ridge Drive to Highland Place and will be open only to residents. These streets will be closed until further notice. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
Temperature sitting in the high 60s, low 70s currently. Let the sunshine kick in, kind of get through the early morning cloud cover, and we'll be in the mid 80s, so that's absolutely delightful for this time of year with overnight lows and mostly clear skies with a northeast breeze dropping back down into the 60s. Any rain that we do see for the afternoon and evening hours, pretty isolated right there. Quick hitter, in and out, done by about sunset. And then we sit back and get to ride the 80s for July. This is really something else. The heat doesn't want to kick back in until we get from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Okay. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds like it's going to be a really nice weekend.
I'm looking forward to this entire week. It's going to be delightful.
It's Monday morning. Sorry.
We'll do it.
It's going to be a nice week.
Of course, your morning news continues on KOAM. We've got the CBS Morning News. That's coming up next.
Or you can switch on over with us to Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues.
Something else we're going to dive back into, Zach, is talk about the almanac for today, where we stand precipitation-wise, not only for the month of July, but actually the year. And I'll do a little explaining as far as why those numbers may seem a little bit skewed compared to your neck of the woods. And also, too, we've got 5 rivers with updated flood warnings that we're going to break down.
Right.
That does it all for this Monday edition. I want you to have a great, wonderful day. Hey, I want to thank you for joining us for really what was last week into this week. You're awesome, dude.
Thanks.
Love working with you. Do me all a favor. Be safe. We'll do this all again tomorrow morning.
This morning,